Alright, so what I have here now is I have these outlines. Let me hide this portrait. What I want you to do, I need to connect all these guys right here. So you can see how I did a combination of drawing with my pen tool and pencil tool. So I'm going to go ahead and connect these guys by selecting them, pressing Command J. I want all of these to ultimately make one path. And I only need this for these main shapes, the face and this hair. Later on, as you'll see, I'm not going to need to do this step, but it's important that I do this step right now to get this main shape. And if I need to, I'm going to have to edit those areas there. Command J, Command J, Command J, Command J, Command J, Command J. Especially up here. Command J, Command J. Alright, because now what I have, now that I've connected all of this right here, let's go ahead and switch this from a stroke to a fill. But let's go ahead and give it a darker color. Alright, so I have this. I'm going to bring back, that's locked, the face base, switch it from a stroke to a fill, and so far I have this. Now the next step that I'm going to do, I'm going to now focus on bringing out some of the details. So I like starting with the darks on the face. I'm going to leave this hair here. I'm going to switch the face back into outline, and I'm going to trace out some of the dark details. And one way that you can go about doing this is that you want to focus on getting some of the different tones. So I'm going to switch back into Photoshop and be able to adjust this. Let's go ahead and save this. Let's bring back the image, and let's go ahead and switch it back from a fill to a stroke. Alright, and we're back in Photoshop here. And okay, in Photoshop here, I want to focus on the dark areas, probably her eyebrows, maybe her eyelashes, her nostril, maybe the side of the mouth as well. So let's really zoom in on her face here. And this is what it looks like with the regular image. We can already see some detail here, but sometimes it's easier, still using the same brightness and contrast adjustment. If we increase this all the way up, you could do something like this, where it really shows you where those details are at, but it is going to require you to use your own artistic interpretation. Even doing something like this, it's like, alright, great, I see my colors. I have my white for my base. This red, yellow, and black would be other colors. As I start to decrease this, you can see how it brings in some other subtleties. Where I'm going to go down there. Let's see. I like something right here, because I still see some details in the black right here. You can see that right there. Great. And let's go ahead and save this. Command S. Let's switch back into Illustrator. Hey, files have been modified. Do you want to update them? Yes, I do. Great. And you can see that there's this other dark shadow right here. I can see this darks right here. So these I might decide, this one I might decide to do later, or on its own separate layer. But these that are specifically dark, I want to have on one separate, as is that one. So this is where layers are really important. Let's see, let me rename this one as my hair base. Great. Alright, on top of your face base, I'm going to create a new layer. On this layer 4, I am going to trace out the details for the eyebrows and the eyelashes. I could do it also for the eyes, and maybe, sure, we'll just add all the areas that are dark. So this one, let's see, I'm going to use my pencil tool. Now this is where layer order and using some of these tools really come into play. You can see that I can't see many details here, so maybe you don't need to. Since I'm using the pencil tool right here, I'm going to start over here off to the side, and depending on how you want this to go, notice I'm not even connecting these because I know that when I switch this from a stroke to a fill, it's going to go from the endpoints to fill this in, so I don't need to fill that shape in. So over here, let's say it's more of that artistic interpretation where we can't really see what is over here. So I'm just going to be really close. And you can see right here, you could almost take it as you're tracing out pixel areas. Again, not connecting these guys here, but they're still going to overlap. There we go. Now we can't tell, but there were supposed to be some details here for the eyelashes, so I will artificially add them. Okay. Nostril. Hey, let me show you. I'm not even going to go through all the way. Because what I'm going to do, I'm going to have these shapes overlap. And you're going to be doing lots of that. And you know what, I'm just going to keep all that separate. I'm going to go ahead and select these. Let's actually select a black color. Great, and let's hide the image. And you can see just like that, we already got something, some sort of shape coming through. Alright, and you know what, we'll just go ahead and continue using these layers. I'm going to label these as this layer as darks. Now on a layer underneath it, I'm going to take advantage of still my layer order, and now I want to trace out these reds. These reds right here. You get to decide the type of line that you would want to create. So I'm still going to be using the pencil tool. I'm still going to start over here. And say, for example, you don't have to go all the way through. I'm going to stop because maybe for some reason I couldn't go all the way through. This ultimately is going to connect. Let me assign a color for right now. I want to make sure that these shapes overlap. I want you to concentrate on focusing on creating shapes. Not lines, shapes. You can see how these shapes are overlapping. So I'm going to leave a hole here, and to do that, again, I'm going to go like this. Even though these guys are overlapping here, alright, let's see now. Let me do it better. I'll go halfway through. Here we go. I'm going to start on this side now. See, I had to come all the way around so that these two are close when they connect. You can see it looks kind of weird. Don't worry, we're not done. Let's see, the lips has some really cool shapes and details. Remember, artistic interpretation, because this image is, at this point, it's really pixelated, so it's hard to see. And you know, you might be wondering, it's like, well, how do you know which areas should be included? What areas should be included? I don't. It's a series of trials and errors to see what works, what doesn't work. I'm going to zoom out so I can get this cheek. Now, if I want to keep this smooth line right here, I'm probably going to have to duplicate this and maybe use something like, I don't know, what is that, Pathfinder? You know what, I'm just going to kind of swipe down here. I think I'll do that. Use a Pathfinder to get this chunk off, and since I'm going to be doing that, I'm going to need I'm going to need to make sure that this shape is closed off. So this is going to be a special use case. But here, let me just go ahead and show you. I'm going to switch all of these. Let's hide our original image from strokes to fills. And you can see your portrait is starting to reveal itself. So now what I want to do, I now want to outline the yellow that is there. Oh, you know what? I missed this little red area here. Alright. I'm going to lock these. I'm going to leave them like this because now I'm going to create, let's see, let me rename this from, see, that's darks. Let's say these are mid-darks. Okay, because now what I want this yellow. Let's create a new layer which is underneath there. Pencil tool. Let's see, let's change the color of these mid-darks to a little bit darker color for right now. And remember, I'm using just monotones colors to help me figure these out. And now on my layer 6, I want to outline this yellow. So there's some yellow over here. There's this yellow speck right there. Remember, if you can't go all the way through, see, I cut back because I know that this is where they're gonna, when I switch it to a fill, it'll go straight. I need yellow here. And if this doesn't make sense right now, don't worry. Don't worry. Once we switch this from a stroke to a fill, you'll be able to see the shape that we get. Here, I'll bring some of this yellow right here. Outline the lip. Connects there. Now some of these shapes you might be thinking is like, wow, those shapes are weird. This is, you see, I'm gonna need to fix this as well. So this one I will need to connect. Command J. And it's like, wow, that looks like a mess. But here, let's go ahead and switch these from fills to darks. Switch these from fills to dark. And let's change the face base. Oh, face base is too dark. Oh, I don't want that. Okay. There we go. So we need to fix this area down here. Let's save this. And to do that, as I mentioned, you said that this is a special use case. So this shape, and this shape. So I'm going to need to make 2 extra copies of the face base. So I'll go ahead and do this by dragging them here. Let's hide one of them. And I'm going to use a Pathfinder, which is under Window, Pathfinder. And I'm going to select the top shape, hold down Shift, click on the bottom one, and I want the area that they interact, which is this right here. So it gives me this shape. And let's see, where did it put it? Is this in the correct one? Yep, great, it's already there. And now I want to do the same thing for this other shape right here. Select the face, select this other shape, intersection. Great. So I have this nice cut. Now that's why I created this extra copy there. See, did it move? I think it did. And zoom in. Just move it. Alright, there we go. So this process I would repeat for the hair as well. But you can see what you would be doing. You definitely want to separate these into their own layers. So here, let me go ahead and bring the hair. Let's see, I'm going to hide the portions for the face. Now for the hair, let's go back into Photoshop. I mean, the hair's already dark. So I'm going to use this one right here. Let's increase some of this contrast. Right, the only area where you really see some details is maybe on the top of her head right here. And for something like that, yeah, you could do something like this again, where everything that's already black will stay as is, but where it's red, this is where you maybe add some other details. You have yellow on the white if you want to have all of that. Now you don't have to go all the way over here. You can always do it yourself, where it's like maybe decide, okay, here's the highlights, and these are going to be the mids. You see, but doing something like this, you could see where it's like, okay, I could see where there are some highlights. So I'll keep it like this, Command S. And for these shapes, I'll definitely use, let's see, let's switch this from a stroke, from a fill to a stroke, and create a new layer on top. Oh, you know what? I didn't label my layer 6, which I will call these lights, perhaps, or light. Let's hide it. So here I want to just create some of these highlights there. So I can use my pencil tool again. And this time, it doesn't have to be so chunky. So, and remember, this is only a reference image. No one's going to see it. So I could start up here. Could definitely use my own artistic interpretation.